English. Thank you so much for joining me for this fragrance video. I hope you are ready to learn about a really lovely, affordable, niche perfume brand based in San Francisco. So I'm talking about Ineke Perfumes, and the perfumer and owner is Ineke Ruland. And I mentioned this brand in my recent fragrance purchases video, which will be linked here as well as in the info box. Because I picked up her sampler, and this is a sampler of every scent from her Alphabetical collection, which is kind of her main line. And right now there are 8 of them. Let me just verify that. Yes, there are 8. And it comes in this beautiful presentation, which would be a wonderful gift. It's 8 1.5 ml size sprays. So they're a good size, really nice little sprayers in these like beautiful individual boxes. Let me just even open one up and show you. They're like all wrapped in tissue, different colors. Each box has different artwork on it. It's just the most adorable presentation, and the whole sampler is $25, which includes shipping. And on top of that, you get a $15 credit to use towards the full-size purchase of any of these fragrances. All of the fragrances in this box, the full size, is a 2.5 ounce size. I think that's 75 ml. Yes, that's right. And they are $95. So for a good size, a niche brand, I think it's well priced, and I really appreciate that. You could pay. Some niche brands are out of control, but that's a different topic. Anyway, so I gave you a little background on Ineke, and I'll talk a little bit about what I think the brand's strengths are, and then I'll quickly go over each of the fragrances in this set and kind of let you know what I think of it, and I'll tell you which one I'm going to spend my $15 credit on for a full bottle. I think Ineke's strength is modern feminine florals. I'm kind of more even into the fruity floral category. And fruity floral, like you're like, oh yawn, this is something that's so overdone or so ubiquitous really, but she does it with such class and refinement, and her fragrances still manage to be very unique, even if they are fruity florals. Although I'd say it's mostly floral. I think the focus is on the flowers. Ineke also has another line called Floral Curiosities, and they are solely flowers, so they focus on one flower for each fragrance. And I haven't tried any of those, but you can also get a sampler of those for also a very reasonable price. And you might have heard of Ineke actually, even though it's a small little brand, because her Floral Curiosities collection was sold through Anthropology, and her samplers are still on their website. So I'm not sure how that works, but if her name sounds familiar, maybe that's why. Now, I described the fragrances as feminine, but there are definitely some masculines in this collection, like really big time. There's one that I will talk about that smelled amazing to me on paper, but when I wore it on my skin one day, I was overwhelmed. I couldn't stand how masculine it was. And it wasn't necessarily bad or funky or nasty, but it was just so masculine. And I love a unisex fragrance, and I even love a few masculine fragrances. I'm not someone who needs to be femme, but this one just got me. So I think it would smell great on a man though. So there's definitely something for everyone in here, and if you are a lady, you can get this and have a little gift to give to your man if you don't like the more masculine-leaning fragrances that I will talk about in a moment. Okay, so let's get right into these fragrances. What do they really smell like? So with any line, there are hits and misses, and I had one big miss, and yeah, really just 1 to 2, we'll say. But overall, like I said, I really enjoy these, and there's one for me that's an absolute must-have, so that's fantastic. Now, the Alphabetical collection, it's a really cute idea because, as you can see, each one starts with the letter of the alphabet. So the very first one that Ineke did was After My Own Heart, starts with A. So that's how she's doing it, and she's gotten up to H so far. So let's start with After My Own Heart. So this one is really lovely. It's my second favorite floral, and it's really based on lilac. I'm going to look at the brochure that it came with so I can refer to the notes as I go through this. But yes, the fruits in here are very light and very soft. There's a little raspberry at the top notes, a little foliage, and the heart note is all lilac, and that's really what you experience primarily with this scent. and the base is very soft. It lists sandalwood, heliotrope, and musk, so it's really lovely. I like the weight of it. It smells very fresh and natural. It's not too light. It's not too heavy. All of these fragrances don't have massive longevity. I'd say this one has average longevity, so you might get, well, I guess it's a little short. I get 3 to 4 hours. These don't have great longevity for me for the most part. But this one I think is average. The next one, the B, is called Balmy Days and Sundays, which is one of the best names. I just love it. And it's a green floral. This one smells like fresh cut grass and sunshine. That's what it smells like. It's gorgeous, and wear it on balmy days. I am just in love with it. I think it's fantastic. It's fairly short-lived, but it's a hot day fragrance. Although I'd wear this anytime. I think it's just great. It smells like sunshine and a gorgeous grassy lawn. Okay, the next one is Chemical Bonding. You really don't need to see these. It's just a little box. I don't know why I'm picking them up, but Chemical Bonding is my mist. It's the one that just totally eludes me. Like, I wonder if there's just something about it that makes me, that I can't smell, because all I really get is kind of a chemically smell, and I wish I knew more about the intention behind it, but it's a little bit like new carpet, or parts of a car, or even like a little bit of the gas in the car. And, you know, a gasoline note isn't necessarily a bad thing on its own, and new carpet doesn't smell terrible, but it's not successful for me, and it's supposed to have notes of citrus and tea, and maybe the tea is throwing me off, but it doesn't smell like tea to me. Dewy peony, vetiver, amber, powdery musk. So that one I'm just not quite getting. And I would say, After My Own Heart leans feminine, Balmy Days, and Chemical Bonding I would call unisex. The next one is Daring Do, which is another really adorable name, and Daring Do smells like a great smelling man. So you can easily see the fougere accents, which that's what's listed as one of the heart notes, fougere accents, as well as magnolia. The top notes are citrus blend and rain notes. And once I saw the rain notes listed on the notes list, I was like, yes, it's there. I can smell that, which is a really lovely effect. I'm a real fan of like aquatic sorts of notes in like all their forms, to be honest with you. The base notes are guaiac wood, cedar wood, and musk. That cedar wood is really there. So if you're familiar with the fougere, which is kind of this ferny, woody accord, often there's lavender paired in with that. There's no lavender in here, but it's just that fabulous smelling man. Really, really nice. With the rain notes, which is a great thing. It's a nice modern fougere, and I can wear this one. I kind of enjoy it a little bit from time to time, but I have to be in the mood. I need to have my husband wear it. Okay, the next is Evening Edged in Gold. This is probably the densest, most rich of all the florals. The top notes are osmanthus and plum. I'm just verifying that. Yes, that is correct. And that osmanthus is a really rich, lush kind of a floral sensation, and the plum is definitely there too. The heart notes, angels, trumpet, saffron, cinnamon. I don't get the spices as much. The base note, one of the base notes is midnight candy. I have no idea what that refers to, but it's sweet and dark. It's very dense and very golden. I think the names really go well with the fragrances pretty much across the board. So this is nice, but you have to really like that intense, plummy osmanthus, fruity floral combination. This is something that you would want to smell before you buy, but it's different, and I enjoy it. It's also a little more long-lasting because it is so rich. The next one is Field Notes from Paris, and this one actually came in an olfactif sampler box. It's a perfume subscription, so this was the very first experience I had with Ineke, and I remember liking it at the time, but when I went and recently wore it, again, you know, with the sampler, this was the one. I couldn't handle it. It was so masculine, and I just actually sprayed it on paper before I started filming. And, okay, it's good but not great to me on paper. it's a lot better on paper than it is on my skin. Again, I should have my husband wear this. Patchouli is a big note in here, although I have no problem with patchouli, but patchouli can smell different based on how it's used. Maybe it's the coriander seed, which is that it can give you that man smell. Tobacco, maybe I can't handle the tobacco, that might be it. And leather. Sometimes leather doesn't necessarily agree with me. So this is a little sweet. It's very rich. It's a nice fragrance and it wears very, very well. This one wore forever, as I was wishing it would fade away, but I think it's a great fragrance. It's just definitely masculine leaning and not on my skin. Okay, next one is Gilded Lily, and Gilded Lily comes in a gorgeous bottle. Like here, these are actually, maybe you can get a sense of what the bottles look like if that's showing up well, but they're all really lovely, and the juice of Gilded Lily is red, I think. It looks red here, so it's beautiful. But this is nice. This is a fruity floral, and the fruit top notes are really delicious. The pineapple, rhubarb, and grapefruit. You can really smell each of those, and they're lovely. Then the middle note is Gold Band Lily of Japan. So lily, and it's a much more watery, light flower experience than that lilac heart note in After My Own Heart. And the base is patchouli, oak moss, and labdanum, but I can't really smell any of it. This to me was lovely, and I love the fruit notes in it, and I usually don't do fruit, but it's very sheer and a little bit short-lived for me. So if sheerness is something you want, like you could wear this anywhere. It's so light and sheer and private and delicious, but it's a little too sheer for my liking. So if this just had a little more oomph, I'd be all over it because it smells great. And the very last one, Hot House Flower. I really love Hot House Flower. It's, yes, it is my favorite of the florals. And the notes, the primary note, the heart note, is gardenia. I've lost my place in the brochure, and it smells great. Along with gardenia, they list galbanum, fig, and frankincense. I might be able to detect frankincense, or fig, just a tiny bit. I can't detect frankincense. I don't get any of that incensey thing, but maybe it's there kind of helping the rest of the notes go on. Earl Grey tea is a top note, and I love the smell and taste of Earl Grey, and if I really pay attention, I can smell it in the fragrance. Cypress, absinthe, and green foliage, somehow all of that, it kind of comes across in those top notes. And then the base notes, musk and guaiac wood. It's just a nice soft base. None of Ineke's bases are overly aggressive or harsh or too musky, or I don't think I've detected a hint of skank in any of these fragrances. That's why I say, you know, that a lot of them are very modern and very feminine, but done in a really, really lovely way. So for florals, Hot House Flower with that gardenia is really great. So can you guess which one I want a full bottle of? It's an easy decision for me. I love Balmy Days and Sundays. It's right up my street. I love green scents, and I love summer fragrances. I love fragrances that make me feel like that California girl that I used to be. You know, it's just my face under the sun and the beach, and even, you know, even on a green lawn, it's all good for me. So I have to have a bottle of that, and it goes to show that even if a fragrance is short-lived, if I fall in love with the scent, that's just not an issue. So I really recommend you check out Ineke, especially if you like getting, you know, little fragrance samples. I'm so impressed by the presentation of the sampler, and you know, it's nice to support a company where you can see, like, okay, this is the owner and the perfumer. And when, like, I wrote a little note in the box when I placed my order saying, you know, it said, tell us how you found out about us or something, and I said, you know, these blogs and someone else and something, and I got a note back that said it was, you know, from Ineke, you know, thank you I'm glad you told us where you found out. And I have a feeling Ineke actually wrote it. I mean, it could have been someone who works for her, but it kind of felt personal, and I think that's lovely. And either way, it's a lovely thing to do, to, you know, write a personal note back to someone, to some random lady who orders your sampler. So I couldn't be happier with the service, and I think the scents are really great. So let me know which ones you're attracted to if you're going to explore this line anymore, or if you have already. Let me know what you like from the line, or if you've tried any of the other perfumes that I didn't talk about today. I would love to hear from you. So thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful, fragrant day.